This is day 443 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today we are doing Siman Shin Aleph, Yud Aleph through Yud Zayin. And of course, as we will be for a long time, we're on the issue of Hotzah. Yud Aleph. Hamotzi Teven Shel Tvua. Somebody takes out a straw of grain. Shur Kamlo Pipara. The shear is the amount which fills the mouth of a cow. Even you took out for a camel, if you go to Mishapara, which has a larger mouth than a cow, you're chayev with the shear for a cow. The tevin shokitnios, the straw of legumes, I feel it's stoma could even if they take out without any intent, tzarkim lo pigamo. You need the mouth to fill a camel's mouth, the larger mouth. Which is larger size than the mouth of a cow. A cow does not eat the straw unless it is pressed to do so. If you remove the straw of legumes to the extent of the full mouth for a cow, you take out the cow's worth for a cow. Yesh split Gemara Shon's Machlekes. Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. You don't put out the point. Rabbi Yochanan exempts this because it considers the eating of the legume straw by the cow only chilai deit chak, forced eating, and that's not called eating. Because Lakish is not chayit to even forced eating, compelled I should say, is still eating. Fi klali hashas, according to the general principles of Shas, like Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Reish Lakish, the path of Rabbi Yochanan. But the Rambam passes that you're chayav, which would be like a Reish Lakish. But that's because the Gersos Rabbi Yesha, his Gersos was that Rabbi Yesha argues on Rabbi Yochanan, for Reish Lakish and not Reish Lakish. The halacha k'maisel got Rabbi Yochanan, looks like Rabbi Yesha over Rabbi Yochanan. Olam ain't tzrich but it says Arukh HaShulchan, this is not necessary. So I feel if the Gersos is saying, even according to our version, as is sharp, it works out well. She Omer Sham Yikon Rabbi Yochanan Chazar Bo, but Reish Lakish, I ain't sure because there it seems that Rabbi Yochanan reneged and recanted and conceded to Reish Lakish. Vote furthermore came at that time since the issue has to do with eating when one is compelled to do so. If that's considered eating or not, it's possible mishpat that is achila. And before it came Reish Perek, it's a regular and sham is explicit baba kama. So mimela, what's it? Achila deitchak is also be achila here in terms of Shabbos. Yud beis. Amir. What is Amir? They kashim shel shiboli. They are straw from sheaves of grain. Kimlo pikle. They are I never realized this before. Kash is straw, and it's also the same word for a drinking straw. In Hebrew, it's a kash. Okay, so kash shoshibolim, shkimlo pikle. It's like the mouth which would fill the mouth of a young sheep. Hasavin grass kimlo pikdi, mouth which fill the mouth of a young goat. Shazuto shum pikle, which is smaller than that of a sheep. Achamir eroeligdi, but the goat does not eat the amir. But grass, which both of them can eat, we go to chumrah. And even if you took out the amount of grass for a goat, for the purpose of feeding a sheep, you're still chayav. Just like we had before with the cow and the camel. As it says. Just like where you took the, so I guess teven is really hay, not straw. Just like the hay of the grain, which you took out to the camel, for a camel, we'll see if it goes in. The previous sif. Leaves of garlic and of onion, if they're moist, kigrogeris. The size of grogeris, the size of the fig, they should not get solid because human beings eat them. If they're dry, the amount which you give to a goat. In all these cases, the foodstuffs do not join together according to the measure of the more severe one, which would be the smaller shear. I'm sorry, when they join together for the measure of the less severe one, which is for the larger shear. Ketzad, how so? Hoti temen shows if you took out a of or straw of grains, mishal kidneys, and of legumes. Yesh b'shneim kolei below pipara. They both of them together have the larger shear of below pipara. I'm sorry, the smaller shear. Below pipara potter. Then that's not enough. You're exempt. Below pigomo, but they can together make up the shear of the camel's mouth. You're chayiv. Okay, Omer v'asem l'cholok yitzabem, so to the amir and the grasses, etc. Yugimel hamotzi eitzim k'dei levashel. The taking wood to use for a fire to cook. Kigor geras mi basis tiny gorles. You're taking a fig's worth of a egg of a chicken. Shikalas basha, which cooks easily, cook much more quickly. Kalbetza and all other eggs. V'gam lo basha levado. And also, when I tell you about where you're going to cook it on its own, the soil that hates Amari because they require a lot of wood for fuel. Elakshi trufa b'shemen o b'shar mashke. Rather, when it's to mix it with oil or another beverage, which is going to hasten the process, it'll soon be ilfas. It's put in a pan. Shemayasis b'shem is going to get it cooked quickly. Motzi kane. Somebody takes out a reed. Kidei asos kumus. It's not enough to make a pen. Hamagir rosh etzbasam, which reaches the heads of his fingers. Yesh stop this man as that. It's not clear in our day and age. Shein because the Mekana, we don't write with quills anymore. Madino what's the halacha? We heard the dina kusharitim, so they should be like other wood. If it was mani mayav, and of course it says there even by a reed if it's thick, shein re'leksiva, it's not worthy, not suitable for writing. Omrutzatz, or if it's chopped up, shuruk haitzim, then shear is like wood. Yudal sheni v'mishnah. Tavlik the tavel beitzakala. Herbs in order to spice a light egg. Perish Rashi. This kilo gerets a fig size of a light egg. She paints on the which is a chicken egg. Vade came who in the Maya Kohen. It's certainly the case, and we learned from the previous halacha. Ava Ramon Kosak de la Tabel Beitza. It says not a fig, but a full egg. It's a spiceful egg. Maybe also means a fig's worth of a full egg. In line with what we said previously. And this is what the Yushalmi says. Kol beitza the tenir, any egg we're talking about, bekalin kibeitza mamish. When we're talking about kalim, which is in terms of tum and tara, I assume, then it's kibeitza mamish. The Shabbos, kibeitza on Shabbos, the shear is a fig's worth of the egg. We also learned to combine tablets, starvings, all types of spices, herbs, join with each other. Gemara says, we're talking about Masika usually means sweeten, but here means they actually add flavor to the pot. Since they can come together and add flavor to the pot. So it explains Arukh HaShulchan that in language of spices, everything's good. Got melech, even salt. Kasha coming to melech mitzdarfin b'tamiyah, and then the question. I'm sorry, I skipped. But K'moshe Baruch Shem Yerushalmi, like the Yerushalmi there asks, Zel Shono, beginning the quote. The kasha may have difficult coming to melech mitzdarfin b'tamiyah, to kimmel and salt, caraway and salt joined together. U'matai tzgak immediately stikol shono. It says also that's when it comes to make the pot more flavorful. I chop. Tamil Rambam, the Stash Rambam, because of the stamp, tablim, mitzdarfim, zem, zeh. That generic, since all the time about things which can change the taste of the pot, everything connects to each other to make up a shear. So it's also more difficult when it says in Mishnah, because of Kamo HaPilpul VaZangvil. He says peppers and ginger. Like pilpul. Ain't no many mistakes. So Arukh HaShulchan, I jumped the gun here. It's my fault. So Arukh HaShulchan is learning at this point in his Havamina that Masika means to actually sweeten the pot. And that's why he has a problem with pepper and with salt, which don't sweeten the pot, right? Therefore, he comes up with the answer. But near the Rambam fresh meal with Tika, love Dafka. Doesn't mean that they're sweet. And rather than things which give the pot a flavorful taste. If you join together pepper and ginger, the taste of the pot is enhanced. The only thing excluded is salt, because salt is not to give taste, but that it shouldn't be bland. Interesting distinction. Avokosha, I mean a time and starving, but all the other types of spices joined together. Farish came Gemara, this is explicit Gemara. It says the brackets, Omar Hachi Nami Chazi Mati Kache Perusha. That which it says here too, they are suitable for being matek, means Chomei Tam Yacha, Uriam Tika Kdera, Latimo. All types of tavlin, with the exception of salt, are flavorful to give flavor to the pot. Tesvav, Hamotzi Pil Peles, so he takes out a pepper, I assume means actually a peppercorn. Kodu, no matter how large it is or small it is, you're chayiv. Tishu chazi rechape, because suitable for halitosis, bad breath. Vena Pil Bashlonim, says Arukh HaShulchan, it's not our pepper, so it's not our peppercorns. The Pil Bashlonim, our pepper, is included in spices. For having sure they tabo go gas, but basic account, therefore she would be the amount which you need in order to spice the pig's worth of a light egg. And so the salt should be enough to spice the pig's worth of a small egg. Each one do psola shel zefes. Each one which is a refuse left after you make pitch. Koshu, no matter how small it is, the chazi cave chatzir rosh. It helps for this syndrome which is called half head pain. Reach ta'ov koshu, a good fragrance, no matter how small the amount is, you're chayiv on it. Reach ra koshu, a bad smell, also it's good, no matter how small. And so too, if you have dye with which you dye purple, habi b'choshu, also it's a minimal amount, shesh b'rechto, because it has a good fragrance besides being a dye. The bad smell is used to smoke for illnesses. Almost sounds like you're supposed to say toloim, worms, but I think it's choloim illnesses. And type, those are reach tov, which is and reach ra, and then there's all types of spices which we use in actually to order to smell. So kosher, no matter how small. The komin reach havi b'koshu, and it has to do with fragrance. It's no matter how small. Nearly the same as some amdim rakla. That's by herbs which or spices which are made specifically to smell. Because the herbs and spices go into food. Harein b'chal tavlin, they're included in the idea of tavlin. B'shura nizbar b'sifa koidem. And since they are tavlin, they're spices, minimal share. Miriam and matchos hakoshim, the hard metals, you can go into choshes such as copper, barzo, and iron. Koshen, no matter how small, you make a small spur for an animal. Vola shaveret, a rose leaf. Shaber bachor, I guess a special rosebud, rose. Vubmin shoshan, it's a type of rose. Vagonga is psila saberet. The Gon's girsa is a wick of a rose. Shosimi tzemer gevanzu, which you actually make out of dyed cotton. Kamin veret, something like a rose, kind of a veret, and they call it a veret. Malafar mizbech, mamla mizbech, tailed from the dirt of the mizbech, or the stones of the mizbech, which is peculiar blues form, or a worn out form. Midchosem, and the kerchiefs used to roll them, koshu. She doesn't mashu nishmatzin or son goes because we put them away in order to put them in gniza. So we don't shame us not to just throw them out. Gachel is kosher when a kol no matter how small. Vamotzi shall have a sponsor, but somebody who removes a flame is exempt. Because I have a Rambam shom. That's the Rambam. To me, honey, I'm astonished. I'm a Gemara for Danes el ba'adi aduye. It's only true when you toss it. You cast it out. So take it attached to a twig or attached to a piece of pottery, you're chayiv. I've got the kisim like sure, even though the twig or the pottery doesn't have a shear and jump. The Leviah said should explain this. Koshu, you took out something which has been used for avodah zarah in the smallest amount. Part example, Even though it says to be chayav, because you have a mitzvah to eliminate it. It says Rabbi Shimon concedes this point. Even though even though normally a malacha is not done for its purpose, when it needs to take something from somewhere to somewhere else. So to remove something from somewhere to somewhere else, you don't get malchus, or you don't get the misa. Because Rabbi Shimon agrees by Surya, there is a specific mitzvah to take them out and burn them. Ayin Sham. Koshkein, a Rambam, which a pasuk, the malacha, Shentil Guva Chayav, certainly the Rambam who passes the malacha Shentil Guva Chayav, therefore any otzah, for any purpose, should be Chayav. You come across pasuk, look Rabbi Yehuda. Nevertheless, he paskin not like Rabbi Yehuda. That by Shanshe with Azar, it's a koshu. Because it says in my name, Shabbos and Mishnah, the kosher latzniya, we talk about anything which is suitable to safekeep. It excludes wood from an asherah tree. So unless you don't know like Rabbi this there's a mitzvah to take it out to burn it. Even though you should be chayim, because nevertheless, according to Rabbi because Moshe and Tzrichel Gufa, Rabbi says you're chayim. Miyuhach me'iso potter. Interesting. So Misham She'avad Azar, so it's disgusting. It doesn't have significance. So therefore you're potter from taking it out. Here it brings down, with this he can, in brackets, this he can bring down a resolve Taisus. Not for us for now. Tezayin. You're only the kosher and kosher. But it seems to me that anytime you say kosher, come certainly us about Ezam emotions that have some substance. El Shein Shir Katsub is just a not precise measure for it. For I mean matchus. And the other different types of metals. Shem Choshu, they are no matter how small, they should us to see a darben cutter because you make a small spur from it. Even the smallest spur, Tzarich Ezer Shir, needs some measurement. And so the things to smell. Havi Bakoshu, it's no matter how small. Varemi Komakam Tzarich Ezer Tfisa Biyodo. There has to be enough to hold in your hand. Otherwise it goes away and you don't make a bracha on the fragrance which lingers. So you certainly need some substance. But you can do language. Kosher means seems to indicate no matter how small. The kosher also has a measure. Let's see the brackets here. Either we can ask, inquire there about, in the words, about weaving. The Mitchil were initially didn't want to add on, and they decided to add on. We can't ain raya ain shamayt. Okay, so proof. I thought this would be no get to us, but it's not no get without looking inside. Let's go to the next one. Yud Zayin. Somebody who takes out seeds to a garden. Seeds and plants cannot be eaten. Is only to be planted. Chayev, you're liable. But puffs mikrogeres, even if it's less than the shear which would be for eating, which would be the shear of a fig. But that means you don't know how much a shear is. The pachos, hare kolam apachos varbe pachos. Less means maybe a lot less or a little less. A little bit close to a grogeris, but not a grogeris. But pachos matters, so it means a little bit smaller. Agam said Loni's bar, come on pachos, but also this is unclear. What's a little bit smaller? Like the kapayim tzarch maybe you should have to take at least half, more than half. Let's see, mizark yishun shnei zironim. So he takes out from squash 2 seeds, mizark luim, and from pumpkin gamkin shnayim also 2 seeds. Also from this Egyptian legume. And somebody who takes bran in order to put on the opening of the a silversmith's crucible. The because when there's no coal, we use fire made of these small stones. If he's the actual lo shayach zeh, according to this, it's not relevant for us to say because our brand is only for animal fodder. And the shear is the size of the mouth of a goat. But in any event, he's saying, I read it kind of like a lead up, it wasn't going to be lead to the next sentence, but I was wrong. He's saying, that's a shear, two seeds. It's possible that's a shear l'chumrah because we don't know, maybe you require more, but certainly it's not less than two. Vamoti Murson, B'zapsilas and Nisha Benafa, if somebody takes a Murson, which is the rejected flour, which means on top of the sieve. If you take off for a person to eat shir the shear is a fig. If it's an animal, the shear is for a goat. If it's to dye, it's what a bag of cotton is to dye a small garment. The shoots of zradim and the carob, actually, before they become sweet, it's got to be a fig's worth because it's suitable for a person. But once they become sweet, I guess because they become overripe. The shuro kimlopi and the sugar goes down to the mouth full for a so it goes down to the size of a goat. Not sure why it's, I guess they're overripe. Avalufa charel to musin, mustard, and this other legume, shakon l'chbashim, anything else which is soaked. Abayim tiku ben shloim tiku, whether they became sweet or not. Shum b'kogeres, they are, the shear is the shear of a fig. Ve'eno b'kim mina elum. We are not familiar with many of these types of food.